So, this one came from a follower. My family used to live in a big city in our country, but then, because of money issues, we moved to a small town where my dad grew up. I was only 3 when this happened. We ended up renting a 2-story house with several bedrooms. I can't remember exactly how many, but I do remember it was a pretty old house. My parents signed the lease with an older gentleman. That's an important detail for the story. My family was me, the youngest, my 2 older sisters, my mom, and my dad. The house had a lot of rooms, but my sisters preferred to share a room, and I slept in my parents' room. Since the house was huge, we had spare rooms, and my mom turned one of them, the second one upstairs, into a playroom for us, full of toys, stuffed animals, the usual. Being the youngest, I spent hours and hours locked away playing in that room. My mom said she started feeling weird about it because I was always talking to myself. When she'd ask who I was talking to, I'd tell her it was a little girl, and I'd say her name, which I won't mention out of respect. Mom says that at first, she just brushed it off, thinking it was just an imaginary friend. Time went on until strange things started happening around the house. At night, we'd hear a little girl's laugh, and it sounded like toys were being thrown down the stairs. That's when my mom decided to look into it and started asking me questions. What the girl looked like, her hair color, the clothes she wore, and so on. I answered everything completely normally. One day, while I was playing in the room, Mom saw I was holding a little rubber duck. It struck her as odd because she didn't remember us owning that toy. And what was even stranger was that it was really dirty, kind of muddy, and looked old. My mom is a fanatic about cleaning. She never let us take toys outside, and if we did, we had to hand them over so she could wash them. She asked me for the duck to clean it, but I gave her a hard no. When she asked why, I told her I couldn't wash it because the little girl had given it to me, and she'd specifically said not to clean it because if I did, I'd never be able to see her again. Mom, not thinking much of it, took the toy and washed it. Just as it had appeared in the house, it vanished. We never found that little duck again. And just as the girl had said, I never saw her again. Everything went back to normal. No more laughter, no more toys tumbling down the stairs. Until one day, I saw the girl again. She asked if I wanted to go with her, and I, being a naive kid, said yes. She told me to follow her to the last room in the house, the one with a small window one a 3-year-old girl could easily fit through. The window was the highest one in the house, and the girl told me I had to jump out so we could be together forever and play all the time. Right at that moment, my sister walked into the room and found me dangling from the window, from the waist up. She ran to tell my mom what happened, and they started questioning me since I never went into that room anymore. I told them everything, how the girl had told me to follow her. My mom was really worried, so she enrolled me in kindergarten so I could spend more time with other kids, and that helped for a while. As usual, the landlord came by every month to collect the rent. One day, my mom asked him who had lived in the house before us. The man said it had been his daughter, his son-in-law, and their grandkids. So, Mom asked him if he knew of a little girl with the features I had described. The gentleman froze. He couldn't speak or move. My mom offered him a glass of water and asked him to come inside as he looked really shaken. Once he sat down, they started talking. My mom told him everything that had been happening, the laughter, the toys falling down the stairs, the hours I spent in that room, the toy that came and went, and how I had almost thrown myself out the window. The man listened in silence until he finally spoke. He told my mom that the little girl with those characteristics was his granddaughter, who had died in that very room from an illness that caused a high fever and eventually took her life. He added that the rubber duck was her favorite toy, that she held it in her hands until her last breath, and that at her burial, they had tried to put the duck in the tomb with her. After that conversation, my parents paid the last month's rent, and we moved out of that house immediately. I never saw her again. I'm telling this story today at 20 years old. So, what did you think of this chilling story? If you've ever had a similar experience when you were a kid, or if you had an imaginary friend who didn't seem so imaginary, tell me your story in the comments below. I'd love to read your paranormal encounters. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more real horror stories shared by the community. See you in the next one.